Well, King Charles will make his first public appearance since starting cancer treatment today to attend church for Easter Sunday.
Yeah, the service is a regular in the royal calendar and is usually attended by many senior royals. But this year it is expected to be a smaller gathering. Let's talk now to Vanity Fair's royal correspondent, Katie Nicholl. Katie, morning to you. So a little bit of a smaller family affair this year, but people will be glad, happy to see the King out in public, his first public appearance.
Yes, good morning and happy Easter. And I think it will be a happy Easter for the royal family. As you say, it's going to be a somewhat scaled down Easter service. We're not going to have the sheer number of royals that we're used to seeing, but I think we've kind of gotten used to seeing a slightly slimmed back monarchy of late. But I think it will be, as you say, very reassuring for the public who've been pretty concerned about the royal family in recent months to see the King and the Queen. And of course, while we've seen a lot of Queen Camilla standing in for King Charles, this will be the first time we've seen the King since his cancer diagnosis.
You say that the public will be reassured. I just wonder, some people have been saying that this is a real moment of crisis for the royal family, that they are vulnerable when their key members are not there and available to the public. But do you think that there is a certain sort of understanding and acceptance now that just over the next few months things are going to be a little bit different?
Yes, I think so. I think the palace are very keen to get out the message that this is a blip rather than a crisis. Certainly the people that I'm speaking to don't see this as a crisis. Obviously, it's a difficult period, and you have two very senior members of the royal family temporarily out of action. But I think that word temporarily is really important. It's not going to look like this forever. You know, the late Queen Elizabeth II used to have a big rank of who she called her substitutes. And so we are seeing those substitutes stand in for King Charles. And I think most notable, of course, has been the Queen, who's shown remarkable energy and commitment to her duty and the job, and obviously representing the King as she did on Commonwealth Day at the service at Westminster Abbey. We weren't sure if the King would be well enough to attend today's service, and he is. And I'm hearing he's tolerating his treatment well, and he's looking forward to getting back to public duties in the not too distant future. So a blip rather than anything permanent.
Yeah, and actually that's quite an important point. You say the not too distant future. Do we have any idea of timeline at the moment for either the King or the Princess of Wales? And it's worth reminding people, we don't know the specific form of cancer that they're being treated for.
No, we don't. And I think regarding the Princess of Wales, you know, that's going to be a pretty lengthy period because she's only just started her course of preventative chemotherapy. But I'm told the King is tolerating his treatment well. We don't quite know what he's having. And, you know, is considering events coming up in the calendar such as Royal Ascot. I think that's all going to depend on how he continues to tolerate the treatment. And of course, if it is something like preventative chemotherapy or immunotherapy or whatever it may be, then his own immunes may be compromised. And I think, you know, his medical team are not going to allow him to do anything that's going to put him at risk. They want this to be a speedy recovery, but a complete recovery. And the most important thing is that he's carrying out his duties as head of state. So those Privy Council meetings, the audience with the Prime Minister, the constitutional role he's obliged to fulfill as head of state, those duties are being carried out. What's been put on ice are those sort of public-facing engagements. But of course, they're the engagements that the King loves to do. And they're the engagements that are very important when it comes to the visibility of the monarch.
And when we talk about visibility, of course, much more pressure, as you've said, on the other members of the royal family to take up more engagements in the absence of two senior figures. Are we expecting Prince Andrew to be at the service today?
That's a really good question, and we haven't been given the list of attendees by the palace. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. He was, of course, at the Christmas Day service. He was more recently at the memorial service of King Constantine of Greece. That's the service that Prince William had to pull out of at the 11th hour. And if you recall, that became overshadowed by headlines about Prince Andrew, who very much seemed to sort of be leading the royals out of St George's. I think that's going to be not a great image for the royal family if that's what happens today. I don't think it is what's going to happen today. I think the focus is going to be on the Queen and on the King. But yes, we've yet to find out whether Andrew will be there.
Thank you very much, Katie. I appreciate it. Katie Nicholl talking about the King's attendance at the Easter service at St George's Chapel in Windsor. So it'll be the first time he's been seen in public since his cancer diagnosis. But a reminder, the Prince and Princess of Wales will not be there with their family.
Yes.